What's up, everybody? So, a couple months ago, I did a review for Rogue Squadron 1. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, just click this little guy right here in the top corner and give it a look-see. Otherwise, this is going to be kind of an addendum video giving impressions about the N64 version of Rogue Squadron and the PC version of Rogue Squadron. So I just did the Rogue Squadron 1 walkthrough using the N64 version because I had already done all the PC level stuff a couple months back, and I wanted to cover both versions. So when I did my review, it mostly focused on the PC version of Rogue Squadron because I hadn't replayed the N64 version. We'll start with the PC version. Again, most of my original thoughts on the game are still in that review, and the PC version of the game is definitely my preferred way of playing, but there are a few things to note. Like, first of all, it has that super annoying camera bug that will just not follow your ship. So as your ship gets faster, the camera stays back here. You're constantly having to cycle through your camera. And that's annoying, especially on missions where right off the bat you need to be doing dives or sharp turns, because then you're trying to do that as you're trying to change camera. Default keyboard mouse controls are crap, but in the flip side, the game is compatible with modern controllers. So Xbox One, PS4, GameCube, and PS3 have all gotten to work on this game with no issues. As long as Windows can detect your controller, the game will detect your controller and you can use it. You just need to kind of disable the compatibility layer. I do have a physical copy of Rogue Squadron on CD-ROM for Windows 95, but you don't need to use this anymore. The game is readily available on goodoldgames.com and Steam, but if you do still happen to have this guy lying around, you can still install it. You just have to get a third-party installer to make it work, and you will have more issues with black screening. So it honestly is just easier to use those Good Old Games and Steam versions. It's $9.99, I believe. Now let's talk about the N64 version. So during that walkthrough, I realized that they do have that physics glitch that makes it so your lasers will shoot through the object that you're aiming at and hit what's behind it. So, of course, in every level, it's not really a big deal. It lowers your accuracy a little bit. Who cares? But in Battle above Talaran and Moff Sirden's Revenge, it can cost you gold. And that's annoying because it's a false difficulty level, and anyone that watches my channel knows I cannot stand false difficulty levels. An N64 controller is also unfortunately not as good as modern controllers, so things just don't control as well. But as long as you have a relatively new thumbstick, and oh my gosh, she agrees. But as long as you have a newer thumbstick, you should be fine. I mean, it's pretty easy to get gold and everything still. Now let's talk about some of the other things that are going on with the N64 version. So if you have an expansion pack on your N64, this game does run at a higher resolution, 640 by 480. Unfortunately, that does drop the frame rate significantly in scenes of heavy action. And normally I don't care about frame rate all that much, but I honestly think that the frame rate does tie into that glitch of your laser shooting through objects. So I thought I would just mention that. And to get a smoother performance, you actually can turn the game back to its lower 320 by 240 resolution by going down to options and just switching it over to normal resolution. And that gives you a significantly better game performance. The glitch is still present, but it's not as noticeable in my opinion. But the game does look freaking nasty, so just be aware of that. The N64 version also doesn't have that camera bug, so it's just much easier just to pick up and play, less to worry about. You don't have to worry about installing the game and having it work in your Windows registry. It's just a much simpler process. Price between the two games is actually pretty similar. It's $9.99 for Steam, Good Old Games, and it's about $10 for an N64 cart. So as long as you wait for shipping, it's going to be roughly the same price. So let's talk about the reason why you would actually want to get the N64 version, because one, it has the worst controller, two, it has the worst graphics, three, it has the worst performance. Why would you want to choose this version of the game over the PC version? And it's simple. This version is harder. This is the more significantly challenging version. It has the better enemy AI. It's just harder. Barring that laser glitch that I mentioned earlier, this game is still the harder version. The PC version is just a cakewalk compared to the N64 version. Anything you can do on this version, you could do on this version, but everything you could do on this version, you cannot do on this version. So that is one of the reasons why I would recommend the N64 version instead of just being like, well, forget that guy, let's all go PC. So in the end, it really comes down to your own personal preferences, which version of Rogue Squadron you want to play. The point of this video is just to enlighten you to some of the differences between the two, because maybe you only played the N64 version, maybe you only played the PC version. In the end, harder game, prettier, smoother game, better controls, worse controls, but they are both still a great game. They have the same content. This one does have an ATST bonus mission, whereas this one will let you play any snowspeeder level without an ATST, and that's literally the only content difference between the two. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. It got a little more long-winded than I had planned on, unfortunately, but that's alright. And just let me know in the comments below what you think of Rogue Squadron, what you think of each version, if you've happened to play both. And then if you wouldn't mind sharing this video and help me get this channel to grow a little bit. Thank you so much, and you are all awesome. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video again, and we will see you all back next video.